Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. After watching this video, your car problems stand about as much a chance as this laptop does against my hot lead. Now, make sure you stay tuned so you can see what happened to the laptop at the end of this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. So today, I'm going to show you how to remove a lug nut if it requires a key and you've lost your key. So essentially, we're going to be removing a lug nut that requires a key. They're also called wheel locks. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and take a look and see exactly how to get that thing off. Alright guys, and what you'll need for today is a set of 1/2-inch drive sockets. Impact sockets are going to work best. You'll also need a breaker bar, and you also need a 32-ounce hammer. Also, keep in mind the socket that you will be using for today is going to need to be a dedicated socket. And what I mean by dedicated socket is once you've used it for today, you'll probably not be able to use it again for what it was originally intended for. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and begin today's project. Okay guys, so before I begin today's project, I do have to go through a little disclaimer here before I show you exactly what you want to do here, because I do realize it's an opportunity for criminals to steal wheels by watching this video, and that's not my intentions at all for today's video for this to be used for bad. So I'm going to go through my disclaimer here in just a minute. I'm going to get this camera set up a little bit better, and then I'll see you here in just a second. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at our wheel lock, and like I was saying before we start, I'm gonna kind of open up with a disclaimer. And really, guys, the only thing I can do here to kind of help is I'm gonna give you a little testimony about myself here, and then I'll continue on with the video. And that's the only thing I really think is gonna help it all with what I've got going on here. So basically, how I came to Jesus, I was brought up in a Christian home, but I later, at around 18, 19, kind of rejected the idea. I actually found out, I proved it to myself that I wasn't actually a Christian when I realized that life really stunk, and I realized it would be easier to just go to sleep and not wake up. I wasn't suicidal, but I just realized that it made more logical sense to not just run through the crazy motions of life. And then I realized that I didn't really believe I was going to wake up in heaven. I believed that you just didn't exist. So I proved to myself that I was an atheist. Now, once I realized that, I said, well, if I'm going to live, I'm going to live for something. So I said, well, if there's going to be a God out there, I want to prove atheism correct if it can be proven correct. So that's the first thing I sought out to do. Was I looked at all the theories and philosophers and all those sort of things, like how the formula for everything comes from nothing, that sort of thing, the big boom theory. And I realized there's more evidence for a supernatural existence than everything comes from nothing kind of existence. So from that, I deducted that atheism wasn't really possible. So then I realized, well, there has to be a God. So the next thing I tested was, well, if there's going to be a God, then which God? Because, you know, there's all these different religions. So through logic and reason, I deducted that if there's a God and he's come and he's created this world and he's created humans for himself, then he's going to take a majority of the population. So through that, I deducted that it has to be the God of Abraham, because the three major religions, and what accounts for over 50% of the world's religion, is the religions from the Abrahamic beliefs, which is going to be the Muslim religion, the Jewish religion, and the Christian religion. So you can see how, well, if all those religions come from the Abrahamic religions, which is God speaking through Abraham, then you realize that if that's the majority, it makes logical sense that that's the God that's the real God. So it now makes more sense for there to be a God than therefore to be no God, and it has to be the God from Abraham. Now, when you test the doctrine and scripture of the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, then we can really kind of come to our conclusion, because the Jews reject their own prophets and some of their own scripture, because they reject Isaiah and the 400 plus prophecies about Jesus. They reject that. So we can eliminate Jews because they've rejected their own stuff. And there's actually the Jews for Jesus, which in my opinion are the only real Jews, because they accepted their Messiah, their prophet, which was Jesus. And then we can also look at the Muslims, and we can see in just their one text, the Quran, there's stuff that doesn't agree with each other doctrinally. And then we can take the Christian text, which is 66 books with a bunch of different authors, and it all agrees with itself over 99%. So logically it would make sense that the Christian religion is going to be the one that is going to make most logical sense, and it's going to be the true religion. And again, guys, I'm telling you my testimony. This is how I came to find Christianity. It's not because I was brought up in a Christian home. It's because I used logic and reason to come to this conclusion. So, like I was saying, atheists, they like to say, well, this text contradicts this text, but what they're doing is they're taking texts and they're using them out of context to say that they contradict each other. They really don't contradict each other. And this is not me just trying to stand up for Christianity. I'll show you how this works, and you'll realize that it is really simple, and it's really silly what they're doing. So I'm gonna show you an everyday example of a contradiction that what atheists and scientists are saying. The Bible contradicts it in this way. So let's say I was sitting at home and my wife went to the store, and my wife was picking up some milk, some cheese, that sort of thing, and we had our list and whatnot, and she gave me a call from the store and said, hey Jordan, do we need anything else from the store? And I said, no dear, we don't need anything else. And then she said, well, are you sure? And then I said, no, we need nothing at all. So in just those words right there, you could take what I said, I need nothing at all, and then you could use that and say, well, earlier Jordan said he needed these things from the store, but later on he says he needs nothing at all. And basically you can use that as a contradiction, saying, well, he said he needed nothing at all, so therefore he could never need anything. But it doesn't contradict itself, because in context it means exactly what it means. I need nothing at all from the store. So that's basically the contradictions that you're going to hear and see. And if you were to test all those that you hear from philosophers and atheists, that's exactly what you're going to find. So now you've kind of heard my testimony. That's how I came to Jesus. So basically, we're all going to die. We all need Jesus. We all need to be saved from death. And that's all I've got to say. So just keep that in mind. Jesus would not want you to steal wheels. So keep that in mind when you're doing this project. Now I'll actually show you what you need to know to remove these lug nuts or wheel locks when you've lost your key. Okay, so what you're going to want to do here is you're going to go get yourself a cheap set of sockets, or take your sockets you've got already, and you're going to see which one kind of doesn't fit on there. I just took the 18, it just slid over there. I'm gonna take the 16, and it's not fitting on there. I'm gonna take the 17, and we can see it just kind of barely wants to fit on there. Now, so what you want to do for this particular case, and this is a Honda Accord, the socket that fits over the key is gonna be a 19 millimeter. So this may help you for your particular application. You're gonna want to take a 17 and then possibly a 16 also, and you're gonna want to set it just like that. We'll go ahead and take our hammer, and then you're going to want to go ahead and bang it on there really hard until it's stuck on there. And when you do that, you'll go ahead and you'll be able to put your ratchet, and I got a better socket here, 17 millimeter socket here. So you're just going to take your hammer it on there, and then you're going to hammer it on there a lot better than I just did. I just don't want to destroy this wheel lock here. And then we're going to take our breaker bar like this. We're going to go ahead and set them on here, and then we'll just go ahead and pull. Man, those lug nuts are on there tight. So I'm just gonna push from the other side. And if they're on there as tight as this one is, then I feel bad for you guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and impact this guy off. There we go. So hopefully they're not on quite as tight for you. And I actually cheated, I used the wheel lock here, but the principle is the same. You're just going to take that 17 millimeter impact and hit it on there, but you should be able to take what you just saw me do, and you should be able to do it just from that. So with all that said, thanks for watching, guys. Again, please do not use this video to remove wheel locks here and steal the wheels like this. So with all that said, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all my new videos, which publish Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will see you then.